you can look at change in one of two ways. You can look at it as, oh shoot, I'm scared about what's going to hit me. Or you could say, no, this is a great opportunity. As you build AI agents, they're a part of your human resource tools of capabilities. So the HR team should own your AI agents. I wake up every day, I can make somebody's life better, or I can make somebody's life worse. You can make or break somebody every single interaction.
Today's guest is Steve Bandrowczak, a technology executive whose career has spanned more than 3 decades, including leadership roles at DHL, Lenovo, HP, and Xerox, where over the last 8 years at Xerox, Steve served as president, chief operating officer, and ultimately serving as CEO for the last 3 years. One day we're on the golf course and the caddy walks up to us and says, no, hit it 15 feet over to the right. You and I looked at each other like, what? You might have drained that putt if memory is not serving me well, but I remember the complete disconnect of what I could read and what the future required for me to approach a golf shot at that moment. And then both of us surrendered and trusted the guy who knew the green better than us. And it was 16 feet to the right. You're reading the green. Today, right now, you are reading the green about where to go from the CEO role of Xerox to Soul Consulting. Tell us more about what Soul does. How are you guys reading the green right now?
The biggest thing that we do is we help CEOs build a strategy. What's the art of the possible? What can AI do? Can it take $1 out? Can it drive 3% revenue growth? What is the art of the possible? Then we help them with how do you build a center of excellence and actually drive the transformation internally? How do you build it? How do you implement it? How do you drive change? How do you get the management team bought in both top down and bottoms up? One of the things that we help companies do is think about gamification of AI. If you got somebody in your business and they're sitting in a call center and the CEO says, I'm going to implement AI, they get nervous. Like, am I going to outsource my job? Let's bring you into the fold and you actually not only use it, but you can actually develop it, and we gamify how you can develop it within the context of the company. And so we really try to build and help CEOs build the strategy, build the COE, Center of Excellence, that actually implements it, and then help them, what are the transformational things that they need to think about and do differently? So the first thing to realize is that employees are already interacting with AI in very, very different ways, but you got to remind them, are you okay going to the car and saying, hey, take me to the laundromat or take me to wherever it is? We're all comfortable with that because it provides easy and it provides very convenient ways of doing things. Bring that inside the business. How do we make employees' lives easier? Everybody is always questioning whether it's AI or employees. No, it's and. How do we use AI to make employee jobs easier? How do we stop working 40 hours and 45 hours and we get it down to 35 hours and 30 hours because we got assist and we could do things simpler and easier? One of the things that I've always said is as you build AI agents, they're a part of your human resource tools of capabilities. So the HR team should own your AI agents. They have capabilities, they have certain sets of skills, they have certain requirements. Before you go and recruit, how you train differently, AI is part of the workforce. And when you think about it that way, now you start to integrate, just like you integrate any end-to-end process, any function. So you think about finance today, whether it's audit, whether it's receivables, payables, AI plays in that entire procure to pay process. How does it hand off to people? How does it give more intelligence and more help to people? And how do we make it where AI is a tremendous assist? Think about AI in healthcare. You know, you got oncology, you got somebody that's looking at, whatever their records are of their history of their patients. Now multiply that by 1 million and use AI to bring millions of data points as opposed to 1,000 data points to an individual. Then an individual can make a decision around what is the best care for this particular cancer type. That's game changing. And that's where I talk about AI assisting and helping and bringing us incredible insights so that we can make real world decisions as human beings.
Where is risk under-assessed, and what are the tools to assess risk that every business owner needs to sharpen up?
The risk of doing nothing, that's your first and probably your biggest risk, right? If you sit there and you wait and you do nothing, somebody, whether it's your competitors or a non-traditional competitor, is building something in a garage or somewhere that's going to surprise you very significantly. So the art of doing nothing is probably the biggest concern that I would have in terms of risk. The second piece of risk is, you can look at AI as something you use inside, but remember what I talked about in terms of the insurance in the finance world. If a big finance company can do it, somebody in the garage can do it. And so if I'm building an AI agent that takes and starts doing recommendations on portfolio management with no people and starts to build on, hey, every person out there wants to develop and deposit $100. I don't need $1 million from you. I need 100, but I'm going to get 1 million people to give me $100. Now, all of a sudden, you got something that's very, very formidable, and you're competing against an asset you never even thought about.
You have talked about a fearless operator. What is your journey, starting in Queens, in your own words? What's your journey? How did that make you a fearless operator?
I was disowned by my family at 16 years old. Spent many, many, many years just going through garbages and picking out copper and steel so that I can bring it to the junkyard, get a few dollars so I can get a couple of dollars of gas that will allow me to get to a job or get to school, whatever it is. I use that not as, hey, poor Steve. I use that as, if that's my starting point, nobody could ever, ever hurt me. And so you can take my wife and I, put us in a parking lot, take everything away, and we'll be just fine. Because you find a way to survive through the years.
And how do you approach mentorship?
I have always been very, very, very proactive in mentoring and helping people, especially my direct reports. I have told my direct reports, go get another job outside the company because your growth has stopped here. In order for you to grow, you need to go. And I have actually helped them get jobs outside the company because I've taken a personal interest in their own personal development. I also believe in reverse mentorship. This is an interesting concept where you have early career employees that actually mentor you. And that's interesting. You go to somebody who's a new hire or somebody's in early career and say, you're going to be the mentor of the CEO. Like, well, what am I going to teach you? Until you help them understand what their superpower is. All right. The first time somebody said, you need to talk to me on WhatsApp. I'm like, what do you mean? What is WhatsApp? Right. And you think about some of these applications today, and what you learn through reverse mentorship is what the next generation is thinking about how they value, how they want to work, how they want to interact. They have incredible lack of tolerance for mediocrity.
If you were to rewind and go back and meet your 20-year-old self or your 16-year-old self, pick a time in which you wish you could teleport back and offer some advice. What would that be?
I wake up every day. I can make somebody's life better or I can make somebody's life worse. And I don't care whether it's at the grocery store, holding a door, picking something up, giving them a cart, whatever it may be. You can make or break somebody every single interaction. And I like to leave a positive interaction on everything. Not because I want something back, but because I've been so blessed, been given so much. And my big thing every day is, what can I do to give back?
Thank you for the kindness of joining us today on The Parallel Entrepreneur, where we are trying to learn how to do more than one thing at the same time in a messy, beautiful life of entrepreneurship.
Marco, it was my honor, and thank you for having me on.